OK ですか？OK ですか？始めますか？シリグルビョナマハリオムサハナババトサハノブナクトサハヴィリアムカラワワハイテジャシナバディタマストマビディビシャワハイオムシャンティシャンシャンティハリオム。オムシャンティシャンシャンティハリオム。いや、こんなちょっと少し、ちょっと量にはね、OK。どうぞ。今、永遠の伴侶から林道君、はい、どうぞ。シャメブタナンジの諸外からですね。
スワミ・アドプターナンダ教えと回想。羊飼いの少年はいかにして聖者になったか。スワミ・チェタナーナンダ。ある時、ギリシュゴーシュがある信者に言った。ギーターに書かれているような僧に会いたければ、ラトゥーに会いに行きなさい。その信者はギリシュの言わんとするところがわからなかった。ギリシュは言った。あなたはギーターの第2章を読んでいないのですね。確固たる知恵を持つ人の性質がそこに書かれているのです。そのような性質のすべてがラトゥーの性格に現れていることがわかるでしょう。バガバットギーターのこの有名なくだり第2章の最後の部分は、明智の人について語っている。逆境に心を乱さず、幸福を追い求めず、恐れを知らず、怒りを知らず、物欲を知らぬ者、私はその者を賢者、明智の人と呼ぶ。この者の肉のつながりは断ち切られている。幸運であっても嬉しがらない。不運であっても欺かない。私はこの者を明智の人と呼ぶ。シュリ・ラーマクリシュナの在家の弟子であったナバ・ゴパール・ゴーシュもラトゥー・マハラージにこれと同じ資質を見出していた。一頃、ラトゥー・マハラージは私の家によく来ていました。彼が世間とのすべての関わりから遠ざかっていることは誰にでも分かりました。彼は個人的な欲望を一切持たず、誰に対する義理も負っていませんでした。彼は食べ物が来ても美味を楽しまず、あるいは食物がなくなっても欲しがったり苦しがったりしませんでした。一目見ただけで 彼が全く無欲であることが誰にでも分かりました。終わりです。
Mic is okay. So, let us resume our discourse on Bhaja Govindam. So, from what we discussed in the morning session.
では、バジャゴビンダの続きを始まります。
So, we are discussing verse number 8.
第4節について話しています。
So, which reads like that. Kātavakanta kaste putraha sangsarvayam utiva vichitraha kasyatvangva kuto ayataha tattang chintaya tadiha vrataha. That means, who is your wife, who is your son? This world is very strange. To whom you belong, from where you have come, you always deeply ponder over the reality, the truth.
その説の意味は、どなたはあなたの妻、息子、娘や、この世界は本当に不思議な場所です。そしてあなたは誰のものなのですか？どこから来られたのですか？あなたは真理について深く考えてください。
So, and we told that this Bhajagovindam is like a spiritual hammer.
そしてバジャゴビンダンというのは霊的な土、ハンマーのようなものです。
In fact, Shankaracharya composed one hymn, the name of which is Moha Mudgar. Moha Mudgar, Moha means delusion, and Mudgar means hammer. So, your delusion will be broken by hitting this hammer, by reading this, reciting this Sanka hymn. So the name of that hymn is Moha Mudgar. That means the delusion breaker hammer. The delusion breaker hammer. See, the name of that Sanka is Moha Mudgar.
実はシャンカラチャリアがマハムッガーという
モハ
ムッガー無知を、破る、土という参加を作りました。でその参加を読めばあなたの無知が、知識のハンマーに破れてしまいますという意味です。
So, dispeller, breaker or dispeller, like that. The delusion is dispelled. And then whole the present hymn, Bhaja Govindam, this also, there are a lot of discriminations which a spiritual aspirant should do for realizing the truth.
そして真理を悟るためのさまざまな実践が必要です。
Then in the morning session we discussed that the questions Shankara raised, it has two types of answer. One is superficial answer, one is a deep answer. So that we explained. What is the common answer to these questions and what are the deeper answers of the same questions. That means, who is your wife or husband, or who is your son or daughter? This world is a very strange thing. Then from where, to which you belong, from where you have come. So these are the questions he raised, and he said, this is think deeply from the spiritual point of view. That is what is his expectation, that is what is his suggestion, his request, by addressing the spiritual aspirants as brother or say sister. So he is requesting to do us like that, asking ourselves, introspecting on this.
そして、私たちに兄弟や姉妹のように、呼びかけてくださり、さっきのような質問、あなたは、誰のものなのですか？親類縁者との本当の関係性について深く考えて、欲しいので、こういうような呼びかけがします。で、このことについて浅い答えを出さずに深く考えて本当の答えを出すように、働きかけしてくださいます。
Then we also discussed that should one's, if these things are illusion, this family, father, mother, husband, wife, son, daughter, this or work life, if these are all illusions, then should we renounce it, give it up? Then Sri Ramakrishna, in answer to that, he said, no, you just do one thing. You first gain the spiritual knowledge, jnana, and then you do you see your duties, you continue your householder's life. So, but the condition is this, that you have to first gain the spiritual knowledge. Then, what is that spiritual knowledge and what is that ignorance, spiritual ignorance? Then we also mentioned that that knowledge is this which teaches us that, O Lord, you are the only reality and everything belongs to you. And the jnana of spiritual ignorance is, you see, this body, mind, I is the reality and everything belongs to that I which is composed of, which consists of, which comprises body and mind.
そして、では私たちと、親類縁者との関係がすべて幻、一時的なものであるなら放棄すれば良いのではないかという在家者が、スリラーマクリスナによく尋ねました。スリラーマクリスナの答えは、いやそれではないが、まず霊的な知識を獲得しなさい。その霊的な知識とは、私と私のではなくあなたとあなたのという知識です。つまり、私と私のがこの体とこの心の、ことを指しているんですが、あなたとあなたのは、すべてが神様に作られており、すべては神様他ならないことを、理解することです。この知識が得た上で、在家者の生活を送っても、困らない、苦しまないというご助言でした。
The Upanishad teaches us, or rather asks us to inquire, who am I? Atmanam Vidhi. Why it asks to investigate that, to introspect? Because The ordinary concept, ordinary image of myself, as we have already told, is body and mind. But if we investigate deeply, if we introspect deeply, we meditate deeply on our real nature, then we understand this I is not body and mind, but the soul, the self. Now here, this ajnana, ignorance is I and my. This does not signify that the real I. It signifies that I which is related to body and mind. So we should remember this particular point. So in that context, and in this sense, then it will be spiritual ignorance. But if we know the real nature of myself, then that, and if we use in that sense I, that perfectly, then that is the knowledge. So here Ami and Amar, I and my, is related to the body and mind. That's why it is called ignorance. Because it is changing, fleeting, and finally it will vanish.
そしてウパニシャドでは、アトマナムヴィリ
ビッディ、
ヴィッティ、アトマナムヴィッティ、つまり自分の本性について検討しなさいという、声かけが何回もあります。それは、私たちが常に変化する一時的で、最終的には非実在の、体と心に同一してしまうので、私と私の言うときにそれだけ しか考えられないが、もっと深くいきますと本性アートマンにたどり着く。そのアートマンとは、神様他ならない、それは本当の知識です。私と私のは神様あるいは魂と同じことを考えるときにそれは知識でそういうふうに考えてもいいんですということになります。
Now ordinary people's image of here when you explain it, jnana and ajnana, so we should understand this ami and amar, that means I and my, actually refers to that type of I and my which is related to body and mind.
そして午前中にも申し上げたんですけれども、私と私のという、霊的な無知の言葉が常に体と心のことを意味しています。
And I repeat, why it is ignorance, why it finally leads to suffering? Because this image of myself is, that means body and mind, it's always changing, fleeting, it has a beginning and it has an end. So if I am attached to that type of thing which is fleeting, which has a beginning and which has an end, then finally it will bring only sufferings to us.
そしてその特徴とは何か、一時的で始まりがあり終わりもあり、そのため執着してしまうと、最終的に苦しみの原因となります。なくなると苦しみます。
So then how to change from ajnana to jnana, how to remove this ajnana and gain jnana knowledge? One way I told, that's Jnana Yogi's way. That means always discriminating between the real and the unreal, and to get established in the idea that I am Atman, I am pure consciousness. But as our body's idea is very strong, it's very difficult for us to get established in that idea that I am consciousness, pure consciousness. That's why the another way is to just transcend it. How? That means replacing this body, mind, I by the image of God, which is infinite, eternal, and absolute.
このような、見方を直すため、ギャナヨーギの、方法があります。つまり常に実際と非実際の間を識別して実際のみを通って、自分とは、純粋な意識であるという意識を常に持つことですが、私たちが体にだいぶ執着しています。体意識が強いのでなかなか難しいです。ではもう一つの方法は、体という感覚を超越して代わりに、神様のイメージをする。神様とは、無限、永遠、絶対の存在です。これを意識しながら、自分の体の意識を、切り替えることです。
So then how to do that? So let us discuss it in detail. For example, ordinarily how we say my body, isn't it? We say my body. So change it to this body belongs to God. Don't say this body belongs to me. Change it to this body belongs to God.
例えば、自分の体と言わないで、この体は神様のものですと言いましょ
う。Then we say my intelligence, my power, and then there is a possibility that if I compare sometimes with others' power and intelligence, then it's true that maybe sometimes my power and intelligence is superior to others. Then from that, the ego, the vanity may come. And in fact, have we created our own intelligence? You see, we inherit like that. So from our birth, God has there's an input of this buddhi in me, intelligence. We can little develop it, but we cannot create it. So I have not created my own intelligence. So in that way, if we say it is my intelligence, my power, and this power also how it develops. You take food, and how food is, how the vegetables, crops, all these things. So from that we get the energy, isn't it? And then we become powerful. But we have not created anything, the sun, the rain, the earth, the wind. And because of all these vegetables grow, and then fish, animals grow, then we get energy from them by eating all those things, which we have not created. So in that sense, how can I say that this is my power So change it rather to this type of thought, that all this power and intelligence which apparently I possess, actually this belong to God. This God's intelligence, God's power, which He has put into me.
私の力と私の知識という考えを直さなければなりません。例えば他の人に比べると、もしかしたら私たちの力と知識が優れているかもしれませんと考えてしまう。そうしますとうぬぼれが出てしまいます。しかしよく考えると、例えば私たちの知識、ブッディ、識別する力が生まれつきのものです。つまり、生まれた時から私たちの中にあります。自分たちがそれを作っていません。少し発展させることができますが、基本的にすでにありましたので、神様から与えられたものです。またエネルギーのことも考えなさい。私たちが野菜とか動物、魚とかを食べるんですが、それらを育つためのさまざまな、元素とか、例えば、太陽光、雨、土、風力などが、食物と動物を育てます。なのでそのエネルギーが私たちが作っていない、神様が作りました。
Source of energy.
そのためどうして私の力と言えましょうか。それはすべて神様の力を借りているに過ぎません。
So if something belongs to others, but if we claim it belongs to me, then are we not stealing it? We become thieves. それではないですか。泥棒になりませんか。本当の神様のものですけれども、もし私のものを言いますと泥棒になります。本当に自分のものではないですよ。Okay. Now again.
But if God allows us to use it, then it is not stealing. If somebody allows us to use the thing.
So did we take the permission?
Permission is already given.
Anyway, so then again we say my family, the wife, son, daughter, friends, this all belongs to me and I am the master. But actually, again that we have not created them. It is God who has given them to me. So, one person, his wife passed away after giving birth to children. He became very, very sad. Then, most possibly, Akhandanandaji, he came to Akhandandaji for consolation. Then Akhandandaji said, God has taken away one life from you, but instead He has given 2 lives. So, you understand? That one life means wife's life He has taken, but He has given you 2 lives instead. That means you have 2 children. So basically, you are not a loser, you are a gainer.
そのため私の妻、旦那さん、兄弟姉妹、両親などが、神様から与えられたものを考えれば良いです。これは一つの実の話なんですが、ある男性が、妻が妊娠して、2人の子供が産んだ時に彼女が亡くなりました。 でも2人の子供が元気に生まれて、はい、生きていました。でもその男の人が非常に悲しかったので、どうしようもなかった。でその時、アカンダナンがその地方を通って、彼に会いました。で彼が自分の悲しい話について話しましたが、アカンダナンダジの答えがこうでした。確かに神様が一人の命を奪いましたが、代わりに二人の命をあなたに与えました。のであなたは損したよりも得したんじゃないですか。
So he used jiva. He said, God has taken one jiva from you and instead has given two jivas to you. So he used this word jiva. Okay, inochi. It's fine. Now, when one's near relative passes away, obviously, so grieved and so full of sorrows, but a real spiritual aspirant, one who has that knowledge to his Sri Ramakrishna's efforts, one if has that spiritual knowledge, how will he say, God has given me, or God had given me, now he has taken it away from me. Because it's God's thing, God's property. So it is God who gave me, and as if, you see, lending some money. You give some money and then you take back the money. So temporarily he has been given to you for use it temporarily. Arutuki for temporary use. But we think, no, this is not my right to possess this. So then we make a mistake. So it is God who had given, and now it is the same God who has taken it away from me. So why should it be sad? Because it was never mine. It was God's thing. So that is knowledge. But the moment we think it is my son, my daughter, my husband, my wife, and I am the master of them, and then if they pass away, then we become sad, because we have not that spiritual knowledge. It was really never mine. They really never belonged to me. Yeah.
私たちが霊的な持ちの状態にある間に、私の、両親、旦那さん、妻、娘、息子などが、自分のものである。私が彼らの、持ち主のような意識を持つと、なくなると非常に悲しみますが、本当は、神様から借りているに過ぎないということを考えなければなりません。例えば誰か私たちにお金を貸してくださるんですけれども、もうちょっと後にしたらそのお金を、戻すように言われます。で、持っている間に私たちは自分のお金だと思い込んでしまうが、結局そのお金を返さなければならないという状態になっています。
So in the same way, we say, this is my house, this is my property. So in the same way, we should think, no, this real proprietor, owner of this house is God. All the properties I have, it is God's property. I am just a trustee of it. So there is one song in Bengali which says, Lord, Ami Ghar, or Lord, now here the Mother, Divine Mother, I am the house and you are the indweller. So you are the owner of that house. Ami Ghar, Tumi Gharoni.
例えば私たちが、家とか財産があると、 自分のものではなく神様から預かったものと考えればいい。私たちが管理人に過ぎないが、持ち主が神様です。でベンガル語で、歌があります。母よ、私は家、あなたは家の中に住むお方よ。あなたは持ち主で、私は管理人だけです。
Then think about your work. We always say it is my work, it is my duty, my job. So this is ignorance, agyan. The right thinking is, no Lord, it is your work. You have given me this work to do, to look after the family. So I have no duty, I have no work. So it is your work that I am doing. I am your instrument. You are using me as your instrument to look after this. So every work belongs to you. Every duty belongs to you. That is what is called karma yoga.
仕事に関しても同じです。私の仕事、私の務めではなく、すべてが神様に任せられた務めに過ぎない。私はただ神様の役割を果たすための道具に過ぎないと考えればいい。その精神でもし仕事をして、あと家族のお世話することができればカルマヨガになります。
Now you may raise this question, if you think that it is not my work, then there may be some sort of insincerity in my work. I may not do it sincerely, because it is God's work. But if I think it is my work, then I shall be very sincere. So is there not some possibility like that? Then the answer is, see the examples. With the Ramakrishna monks or see the Catholic priests, they always try to think that every work, for example, the Catholic devotee or priest will say, this belongs to this job, looking after the patients in hospital, or looking after the students in a dormitory, that is Lord's work, Jesus' work. Are they sincere? Are they insincere? Think about Ramakrishna Mission monks. Have you any doubt that because Maharaj is thinking this discourse, this is not Maharaj, this is Thakur's work, so Maharaj has not prepared properly because he is not sincerely doing it because it is not his job, so he is insincere. He is not sincerely doing. Have you seen like that? That because it is not his job, it is Thakur's job. So somehow he should do it. Somehow, just let him. So have you anything seen that in the Ramakrishna Mission monks' works? No. They try their best because they love Sri Ramakrishna and they want to please Sri Ramakrishna by doing his job. If that is the motivation, then why there should be insincerity? So do you not do a work for someone whom you love most? You want to do some work as perfectly as possible, as sincerely as possible for someone whom you love? What do you say? So in the same way, only the difference is this: ordinary people do the work very sincerely, but his image is doing it for his family, which is non-eternal and which makes him attached. But in the case of monks or Catholic priests, because their motivation is to do it for Jesus, for Ramakrishna. So then there is no expectation from that work, or there is no attachment to that work. That is the difference. So if you compare the result, so by apparently the work is the same, giving talks, looking after the hospital, running a school or college. So there are householder people who do the same job. So in our Ramakrishna offices, some monks do that work also. Just like there's a cashier also. So cashier, so he's also just apparently or outwardly the job is same, but the motivation is entirely different. The motive of work is entirely different. Where in one case the motive is to please or to take care of the family. In the other case is to do the same job to please the Lord, who is eternal, who is infinite.
これを聞くと誰か、では自分の仕事だという気持ちがないと、誠実に熱心真心を持って、果たすことができないではないですか。神様の仕事だからなんとかやってしまう。
なんとか
そうなんとかなるから、適当にやればいいのではないですか。自分の仕事ではないので神様の仕事だから。
As the slaves do.
どれのような仕事になるのではないか。
しなければならないですからします。それですね。
仕方なくやるみたいな感じです。というふうにならないですかと聞かれるかもしれないが、それではないですね。例えばラマクリスナミッションとか、あるいはカトリック教会の、神父や、文句が病院とか学校大学を運営しているんですね。で彼らが仕事は、非常に適当にやっていることを見たことはありますか？いや、彼らが、神様を愛しているので神様を喜ばせるために一生懸命やっています。私たちは一番愛しているものを喜ばせるために一生懸命仕事をします。普通の人が自分の一時的な家族、そして執着の対象になって最終的に苦しみの原因になる人のための一生懸命働いているんですが、お坊さんの場合はそれではない。そういう見返りの、期待が一切ありません。それによって同じ仕事しても、例えば、病院を運営して患者さんを見たり、生徒さんに教えたり、あと講演したりすること、ラマクリスナミッションの中にも例えばレジの人もレジを担当するボスさんもいますね。が同じ仕事をしているにもかかわらず、その背景にある動機が全然違うので、結果は全然違います。
Then another difference, what is the difference? Those who have not married, they have not experienced, nor we have also. But those who have married, they know. The husband works very hard, but he finds it so difficult to please the wife. And wife also works so hard to please the husband, but feels sometimes it's so difficult to please the husband. But if you work to please the Lord, Lord will be quickly pleased. He never complains. He never points out what are the, mistakes, how many mistakes you have done. Nothing like that. So, this is a big, huge difference. And then finally, as you say, in one case, however you work hard, some sort of frustration sometimes comes. Oh, I work so hard. Still, I cannot please my family members. But in another case, there is a satisfaction. No, whatever I have done, according to the power Lord has given me, I believe Lord is happy, and God is really happy.
独身の方がわからないと思いますが、
かもしれない。Not now, to the end, because the flow will be distant.
しかし結婚している人は、例えば旦那さんが一生懸命働いていっぱい、お金を稼げるために努力しますが、何をしても妻を、喜ばせるのはなかなか難しいです。代わりに妻も何をしても旦那さんがなかなか満足しない。いつも欠点を見つけて咎める。お互いに咎め合います。
それ自分、he may not say or she may not say frankly, but she may express this emotion to his friends or to her friends. You see, とても難しい旦那さんの喜ばせる。お母さんどうでしょうか。時々、あなたはお父さんとてもいいですから、優しいですから。ですけれども、ね、OK。
そう、例えば奥さんが直接旦那さんに言わなくても他の友達と会うときに、旦那さんなんと気が難しい人です。満足させるのはなかなか難しい。
ありませんか、その種類。
あります。
あります。絶対来たことないシャンディありますでしょ。That's natural. So because the mind of the, basically the person is selfish. So and he is very difficult to completely make a person happy. Because the person whom he want to make happy, he is also changing. His mind is also changing. And as I say, very self-centered. So he only looks everything from his point of view. He hardly looks at it from the other the partner's point of view. So in that sense, it is very difficult to please an ordinary person.
なぜ満足させるのが難しいかというと、人の心は、非常に、自己中心的です。なので他の人、相手のことを、考える、その立場に立って考えるのは難しい。あと心も常に変更しているので、その変わっているものなので、変わりつつあるものを完全にするのは難しいです。一方何をしても、旦那さんが満足しない、奥さんが満足しないということがあったとしても、彼らを喜ばせるためではなく、神様を喜ばせるためにやると、神様が、私たちが小さいことをしてあげると非常に喜びます。そして私たちの欠点を咎めないので、何をしても神様のために、すれば良いというわけです。
The same about the salaryman. Sometimes it's so difficult to please the boss. However you work hard, boss, sometimes find some mistakes you made or like that, and he remembers that. So there may be exceptions, but what I say, this is a general trend.
同じように職場で上司を喜ばせるのは難しいです。どんなに努力しても、上司はいつも自分の仕事ぶりに、何らかの欠点を生み出します。
Then again, if you say it is my work, then you get attached to the result of that work. But if you do the work for God and you surrender the results of that work to God, then this type of karma will not bind you. It will rather help you to get liberation.
そしてこのような仕事を行っても全ての結果を神様に差し上げる、全て神様のために行うことによって束縛の原因ではなく下脱のに導いてくださることになります。
ちょっと隣の部屋からちょっと扇風機持ってください。
ここは非常に
暑いですか？
非常に暑いです。ここは。
Okay, Leo, you sit. So then, in that same way,
エアコンは全然届かない。
so if we have some desire, so in that, so then if you just think that I want to fulfill the desire, satisfy my desire, then what happens? So if it is satisfied the desire, you are happy. If you don't, then you feel disappointed. But if you think, if you depend on God, yes, this I desire. But you decide whether you will satisfy it or don't satisfy. Because I do not know by satisfying the desire whether it will do good to me or not. So I depend on you. So this is knowledge. And ignorance is this, ajnana is this, as I said, this is my desire and I want to fulfill it. And finally, as I say, it may lead you to frustration or disappointment. But if you have, on the other hand, you may have desire, but at the same time you depend on God, whether He will fulfill it or not fulfill it. Then if He fulfills, fine. If God does not fulfill it, you know that it's for your good, God did not fulfill it. That's why Girish Chandra Ghosh said, I quoted this same quotation from Girish Chandra Ghosh. He said, God is gracious when He satisfies our prayer, when He grants our prayer, but God is more gracious when He does not grant our prayer. So this apparently something, this type of statement is difficult to understand, but it has a deep message. So I repeat, if God is gracious when He grants our prayer. If He does not grant our prayer, He is more gracious. Because why He didn't? Because He knew if He fulfills my prayer, then finally it will not bring good to me. There will be some sort of possibility of harm is there, which that befalls me. So that's why Girish Ghosh made this observation, profound observation. So this is knowledge. This is jnana.
This knowledge is jnana is to fully depend on God.
Fully depend on God.
私たちが欲望、願望を抱くのは、仕方がないことなんですが、本当の知識を持っていれば、神様にこういうふうに、話します。神様、私がこういう欲望があります。満足するかしないか、私のために、良いかどうか分かりませんが、あなたに任せます。もし私のためによろしければ満足してください。自分のために良くなければ満足しないでください。で、それを、神様に任せます。ギリシャンドラゴシはこれに関してこういう、言葉を残しています。神様が、 自分の願いを満足するときにそこに彼の、慈悲と恩寵がありますが、満足してくださらないときこそもっと慈悲と恩寵が現れます。満足してくださらないときに自分のために良くなかったので、はい、満足しなかった。そこは恩寵です。
Then again, what is ignorance of Gyan? When hard days come, difficult days come, we feel so unhappy, we feel sad, we complain to God. Then again, when good days come, favorable days come, then we don't remember God. We think it is because of us that there has been success or I enjoy. So this type of thinking is ajnana. But to think that, you see, the hard days and the good days, or favorable situation, unfavorable situation, both have come from God. So by thinking this, let me remain peaceful. So this is knowledge. Because both joy and sorrow are gifts from God. Both are God's gifts. So let us take in that way. With this attitude, if we lead our life, then that is a state of knowledge.
また私たちが、困窮に陥って苦しい生活を送らなければならない時があると、非常に悲しんで神様にいっぱい、文句します。一方、幸福の日が訪れると私たちが神様を完全に忘れてしまって、この私たち経験するいいことがすべて自分の力によってできていると思い込んでしまいます。これは霊的な無知です。私たちが考えなければならないのが、悲しみと喜びはすべて神様からのプレゼントです。そういうような態度があれば、霊的な知識を持つようになります。
And we remain peaceful.
そして心の平静さが保ちます。
Then again, what is ignorance? By completely forgetting of God, if we lead our life, this is ajnana. Or just superficially to remember God, to do some japa in the morning, and then for the whole day completely forget about God. This is ignorance. And what is knowledge? You see, throughout the whole day, we remember God in different ways and do our duties. That is knowledge.
ちょっとアンプが。はい。霊的な無知のもう一つの例が、例えば、神様を全く考えない、あるいは適当にジャパンをして一日中の勤めとか、いろいろな活動する間に神様のことを考えないが、霊的な知識を持つ者が一日中神様のことを思い出しながら行動するということです。
And again, this world, all this life is as if it is eternal. To think and act accordingly, to think this and act accordingly is ignorance. And what is knowledge? To know that this life is non-eternal. This worldly life, world family life, this is all non-eternal. Only God is eternal. To think it and act accordingly is knowledge.
また、この世は永遠で私たちの関係性も永遠に続くと、思い込んで、それ、に従って行動するのが無知、霊的な無知の状態です。しかし、永遠なのは神様のみです。他のものはすべて一時的であると意識しながら生きて行動するのが霊的な知識です。
Then this type of idea that all this, the pleasures, worldly pleasures will bring satisfaction to me is a wrong idea. But what is the true idea? What is knowledge? True knowledge is this: all these worldly pleasures finally become the source of suffering. Only the joy of God is the real joy.
もう一つ誤った認識は、快楽が私たちに本当の幸せ満足の状態をもたらす。これは正しくない。結局快楽が私たちを苦しませてしまう原因、になります。一方、神様が私たちの、本当の幸せの原因であると考えて実現することが霊的な知識、正しい考え方です。
So then we explained all these things, what is jnana and what is ajnana, what is spiritual knowledge and what is spiritual ignorance. The central point is this: if we make our body-mind the center of all our thoughts and acts, this is ajnana. On the other hand, if we make God the center of all our acts and thoughts, that is jnana.
霊的な無知というのは、私たちのすべての考えと、行為の中心をこの体とこの心にすることです。一方、霊的な知識の、印というのが、すべての私たちの考えと行動を神様を中心にすることです。
So, how to have this? How to gain this spiritual knowledge? So there is a song, you see, O mind, think that no one belongs to you. So, ভেবে দেখ মন কেউ কারো নয় মিছে ভ্রম ভূমণ্ডলে. So that song is, remember this, O mind, nobody is your own. Vain is your wandering in this world. Trapped in the subtle snare of Maya as you are, do not forget the mother's name. Only a day or two men honor you on earth as Lord and Master. All too soon that form, so honored now, must needs be cast away when death, the Master, seizes you. Even your beloved wife, for whom, while yet you live, you fret yourself almost to death, will not go with you then. She too will say farewell and shun your corpse as an evil thing.
そして、これに関連する歌があります。スリラマ・クリスナはよく歌いました。 歌はこれです。このことを思い出せよう、お心よ。誰一人お前のものではない。この世でのお前のさまよいこそ虚しいもの。マヤの精妙な罠に捕らえているのだから、母の皆を忘れぬようにせよ。たった一日か二日、人はお前を、敬う。労働とかマスターとか言って、Lord とかマスターとか言って、しかしたちまち今これほど敬われている形も捨てられなければならない。死の王がお前を掴んだ時には、生前はお前がそのために死ぬほど気をもんだ愛妻すら、その時には友をしないでさよならと言い、不吉なものとしてお前の死骸を避けるだろう。
So now the question is, though we listen so much to these discourses, sing these songs, read the scriptures, still clinging to life, clinging to family, attachment to life, attachment to family does not diminish. It continues.
私たちが、たくさんの講話を聞いたり、たくさんの歌を歌ったり、たくさんの聖典を読んだりしても、この命への執着、そして家族への執着がなかなか減りません。
On the other hand, our one-pointed devotion to God does not grow. It's not that we don't love God at all, but what is necessary is that one-pointed love, to make God the center of all our acts and thoughts. It does not grow. So this is a dual problem. One problem is, as I said, our clinging to life, attachment to life does not diminish. And on the other hand, our devotion to God does not increase. That's the whole trouble of us as a spiritual aspirant. Now, what's the way? That is, everyone wants to know. What is the way? How to do it?
そして、この執着が減らない、ものの、神様に向かって他のことを別にして神様だけを私たちの人生の中心にして、行動することもなかなか、増えないです。では、こういうような、私たちの、問題を解決するための方法は何でしょうか。
So first, then our, as I said, two challenges. One is how to decrease our attachment and temporariness, attachment and clinging to life, how to diminish, and how to increase our love for God. So these are the two challenges. So what are the ways? So we have discussed the challenges. We have also explained what is Gyan, what is Agyan. All this theoretical is fine, intellectually we understand. But the problem is, as I say, that we cannot proceed as if we remain where we had been long before. In spite of listening and hearing and talking, our actual spiritual life does not develop. So what to do? So then there are some methods or some practical ways we are now suggesting.
こういうの問題があって、私たちも、霊的な知識と持ちについていろいろ話しても、論理的な、話に過ぎない。そして私たちが進歩しない、からこれから実践的な、 コツを共有します。
So basically what we will discuss here briefly in English, one is observation, number two is visualization, number two is arguments, number three is visualization, number four, faith in rebirth, number five, study of scriptures, number six, thinking of the eternal, number seven, abhyasa yoga, yoga practice, and the last one, prayer, intense prayer.
Only 8 minutes.
You can't continue, grow on more.
では8つの方法がございます。1つ目が観察、2つ目が討論、3つ目が
討論と議論一緒 Arguments?
What do you mean? 討論 means to argue with somebody.
Arguments here means giving some logic, to rational.
わかりました。じゃあ
rational.
まあ理論とか理屈、3つ目が、まあイメージする、そうイメージを持って考える、そして、4つ目が、輪廻転生を信じること、5つ目が、聖典を勉強する、6つ目は、You said eternal?
Yes.
Belief in the eternal?
Thinking of the
Thinking of
eternal.
the eternal. 永遠のものを考える。7つ目がアビャサヨーガ、実践のヨーガ、絶えずに実践するヨーガです。で、最後は8つ目が、祈ることです。
So first is observation. So that means you observe, like Kisa Gautami, the story we told, that she could not understand it. And that's why Lord Buddha asked her to get some sesame seeds from that house where death never entered. So then she, you see, went door to door. So this is observation. You see around you how, you see, people are dying. So this is through observation you learn about the temporariness of this world.
観察とは、例えば、今朝読んだ、キサゴターミの例なんですけれども、彼女が、周りにもみんな死んでる人がいることを気づいていませんでした。のでそのため、仏様が、死んだことのない家の、ものからからしの種を持ってきてくださいと頼みました。そうすると彼女が、家から家へと訪れて頼んだにもかかわらず死んだことのない家がなかった。でそれにやっと気づきました。みんな死にます。
So this will help you to reduce your clinging to life.
でこういう観察と気づきによって、自分の、命への執着が減ります。
Because you see, the death is everywhere. Then number two,
死はあまねく存在することに気づくことによってその執着が減ります。
then think in a rational way. Everything which is a composite thing will be decomposed, which is made of, you see, some combinations will be definitely disintegrated. So all these things what you say are made of 5 elements. And then it must fall apart. There will be at certain point it will all fall apart. So this is the arguments that everything is momentary, everything is temporary. So if we understand it through arguments, through logic, as I say, it's a logic, it's a clear argument, isn't it? Everything which is combined, you say, must finally disintegrate. So this is a case of arguments. All which is made of 5 elements must finally fall apart and will go back to each element. Anything which is made of 5 elements, when it is broken or dies, all the elements go back to its, to the respective element. So our body is made of, earth, then fire, then earth, all the light, all these things, air. So when the body dies, all these elements will go to the original, to the respective element. So in that way, if we try to understand logically, then it shows the temporariness of everything.
そして2番目は論理的推理によって、この理解力を深めることができます。例えばすべて合成されたもの、組み合わせてできているものが、結局バラバラになって分解してしまいます。すべてが、第5要素で作られていますが、時間が経つとそれが全部バラバラになります。私たちの体は、土、火、水、風、そして空でできていますが、死ぬときにそれぞれの要素が原因の元に戻ります。はい、それを理解すれば、私たちがもっと霊的な知識を高めることができます。
So in Sanskrit they use, death. There are many, I should say, words of death in Sanskrit. Synonyms? So one is panchattangata. Have you heard this word panchattang? That means all the 5 elements which compose this body went back, fall apart, and went back to this original element state, state of element. So they call, when person died, they call panchattangata. So the 5 elements went back to their own original state. So it's a very nice way to put it like that. So if we like that, not just death, panchattangata, we like, are all made up of these 5 elements, it will finally go back to their original state. Then this one sort of, like that, arguments or discrimination.
It's like the Buddhist philosophy. サンスクリット語で、死という言葉がさまざまな表現がありますが、一つがパンチャッタンガタハ。つまりパンチャッタンは、第5要素で、ガタハは行ってしまう。
帰りました。戻りました。
それぞれの家に戻りました。
So it will fall apart. So for example, this building, if windows, doors, floors, screw, all fall apart. What will be the state of this building? When there's jishin, それではないですか、その状態ではないですか。全部 roof, door, window, all fall apart ではないですか。わかる？それイメージしてください。地震の後。So where is the building then? You see some window, you see some door, you see a screw, nut, or some wood, or electric wire hanging. So it's all falls apart like that. どうですか？見たことありますか？ After earthquake? So body will be like that, finally. And what is the body?
まあ災害とか地震の後にも、
Have you seen any time after earthquake? Earthquake, have you seen?
全部崩れ落ちるんですね。窓、壁、床、屋根、ネジ、配線とか全部バラバラになってしまいます。私たちの体も同じですね。
Then visualization. Visualization なんですか actually? イメージ作る
イメージして考える。
Now, this is not an ordinary image. Visualization of our own death.
はい。自分の死のことを頭の中になんだろう描くかな。そうですね、描く。
So this is very difficult, but this is also something very interesting and very helpful also. What is the purpose? How to reduce clinging to life. Remember it. That is our point. How to reduce the clinging to life, attachment to life. これがポイントでしょ So in that condition we are discussing visualization of our own death. And it can be a theme of meditation also.
自分の、死を描いてそれを深く考えるのと、考えることが瞑想の対象になり、そして、執着を減らすための、有効な方法の一つです。
So, as a student of Indian philosophy, we have gross body, we have subtle body, we have causal body, we have Atman, isn't it? So when death is there, when death occurs, death takes place, the gross body is destroyed. But subtle body is there. So then you try to visualize when you may think either Lord of Death comes, but I don't want to think that Lord of Death comes. I want to think Sri Ramakrishna comes. So then what will happen? When Sri Ramakrishna comes and okay, Medasham, enough of it. Now let's go. Not let us go to India. Not let us go to Belurbat. Go to my own abode, eternal abode. 行きましょう。本当の私の場所に行きましょう。So what will happen then? It means then that gross body will die. 壮大な体はない。So what will happen after that? Then you see as a witness, bokansha, because you have subtle body, you have mind, you have senses. So you will try to visualize that you are seeing what they are doing with your body, what they are doing. If you are in India, what they will do? So they will chant for some time, Hari Om Ramakrishna. So you all watch. So when, for example, this body dies, so other monks will say Hari Om Ramakrishna, so Hari Om Ramakrishna. You are also one of the listeners. You are also listening, though others cannot see you. But you are watching. Other person says maybe some maybe sad or some maybe little, after all that person was stayed in long time in Japan. Then he pleased some devotees. He made some devotees angry, whatever it may be. So anyway, so then so according to one's own judgment, one will think about the dead body. Then what will happen? Then everything, because this cremation takes place often, so everything stored, woods, and then who will do it, and where is the place? Everything is ready. Just one has to die. There is a machinery. So there is a sequence. What after this body will be kept for some time. Then Thakur's offering will be done. So after Thakur's offering is finished, then cremation. So then who will bring the woods? Some employees, they will bring the woods. They will just arrange accordingly. And then the dead body will be washed in the Ganga. All you are watching. Your body is your body. Then you cannot see your body, and that body you left is washed. Then a new gerua cloth. Then they will make you wear, they make the body wear a new gerua cloth and chadar, and then flowers will be put, and then on the pyre it will be placed, and on that body then some woods will be piled, and then they will say Hari Om Ramakrishna, and then they will make round 7 times like that with the fire, burning some wood which is burning. So then it will make round for 5 times or 7 times like that, and then some monks will sing like that, say devotional songs. So that's the custom. You see, some appropriate songs will be sung during that time when some monks' funeral is continuing like that. Not just gossiping and like that. Continuously some bhajans. So 2 hours, 2 hours. So you are all watching it. Someone is singing, and then the others are sitting and waiting when the it will favor. Then it will all over. Then finally water from Ganga will be brought, then put on the pyre, which finally it will just ash. So all these are watching. Why this visualization is necessary? Because this will help to diminish your clinging to life, attachment to life. And it has to happen. But if it is in Japan, okay, it's different. So one can imagine, okay, Kasoba. So it will there is known that Hari Om Ramakrishna, that system is not there. So anyway, so what they do, they bring that body, put in the ice box like that for some 2 days or 3 days. So you see that your body is kept there, and somebody comes and offers flowers, and then a Buddhist priest comes and do some ceremony. Then finally again carried that body to the Kasoba. Then again they will put into that pyre, and so they will do it like that. There is some ceremony. Then finally again, just before putting your body into that what's a crematorium, the last aishatsu that open, and then you see that some other people who gathered there, maybe some of the devotees will be there, so they will go and see, and okay. And then final aishatsu, then it will put into the crematorium, that burning, the machine, burner, and then after some, they will say, okay, wait for some time, 1 hour, so someone will gossip, talk like that, and take tea or like that. Then after 1 hour, the body is vanished. What comes? Some ash, some bones. So then the was also. So all you are watching, and which has to happen. There is no exception. Reigai nai. So either this or that. Either, as in Indian say, Indian burning hut, or in Japan as a crematorium. So try to visualize in detail what is happening to the body, but you are separate from the body. You are the Atman, and you are the subtle body, you are watching. So why I say this visualization is very, very important. First of all, we do not know when the call will come. It may come this moment, it may come 1 day after, or it may come after 1 year. No one knows. So one should be ready.
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes.
Okay, summarize.
Oof. そうですね。マハラジがいろんな冗談を交えながら話しました。例えば、自分の場合は、亡くなるこの体を、捨てるときに、死神ではなくて、スリラーマクリスナが来ることをイメージしたいです。そして、よし、目指さなんだ、お前は私の永遠の住処に連れて行きましょう。で、行きます。
ベルマトではない。
そう、ベルマトではない。でもベルマトで亡くなると、さまざまなその儀式があります。でも自分がその粗大な体がなくなっ ても精妙な体がなくなるので、その傍観者のように、浮いてる感じで自分を見つめる、他の人たちが自分の死体を見てると同じ感じですね。そうしますと、自分の体はそこに置いてあります。いろんな常に人が亡くなるので、仮装するための、材料がもうあります。で、体がなくなってタクルに、お供えします。物をお供えして、それが終わりますと、
タクルにお供え
You said offering to Thakur. Some offerings are made to Thakur.
Offerings are made to Thakur?
You said like that one.
I said, you say that the body will be bathed, bathing.
No, but before you take the wood and everything else,
Before you
take the wood for burning,
uh,
no, just when the body has died, then you said there will be some offerings made to Thakur.
No. Okay, I think. What I said, this ritual will not take place because the main temple is there. So there are some timings there, no? When food is offered to Thakur. So it should not coincide. This funeral ceremony should not coincide with that. So after it is finished only, that offering to Thakur in the temple, after it is finished, then only this ceremony will be held.
じゃあ、タクルにお昼ご飯を備える、備えて終わらせるまでにこの、仮装の儀式は行ってはなりません。
Or after, in the night, after offering dinner or supper to Thakur. Either way.
夕食のお供えも、終わらせた後に仮装しても良いです。
そうです。
で、仮装するための木材とかいろいろあります。その担当者がもう決まってあります。で、その人が木材を持ってきて、ガンガの水をかけて、そして、亡くなったお坊さんに新しい、ゲルワを巻きます。あと、チャダーラショールを巻きます。そして松明を持って、ラマクリシナの名前を唱えて5回とか7回。
How many times they mark round of that dead Ramakrishna Mission or Belumar? 5 times or 7 times with that burning wood? After one dead says the funeral ceremony. 3 times or 5 times? 3 times? Acha. So 3 times. With Harivam Ramakrishna chanting.
3回体死体を回って。
So because he attended many times, because he had to sing. He had to sing on that occasion. So he is very experienced, someone who has lots of experience.
Every time he has to tell that the moment it is over, you tell me, then I will start like that.
いつ始めますか？これハーモニアム全部向こうにありますから。So then he will start. Okay, now he start. So a lot of experience here. Okay.
その3回回ると、バジャンを歌います。でアニルワマハラシはその役割も
経験いっぱいありま
した。でもその間自分がずっと浮いてる感じで見つめています。その後、ガンガの水を持ってその火を消してで灰が残ります。
You did not understand the context. We say, suppose a monk dies, so he sees his own funeral in that way, because his subtle body is still there, isn't it? So he is watching everything, that what is happening. That's our point.
Maybe he is also singing.
So maybe no one can hear. Okay. Yeah?
日本の場合は、システムはちょっと違いますね。火葬場に、持っていくんですけれども、1日とか2日間ぐらいに氷の中に体を入れてるんです。 でその後お坊さんが来ます。その後、体を、燃やすところに持っていきますが、最後の挨拶のために体を見せます。皆さんが最後の挨拶してから、それは炉というんですか、燃やすところ、炉の中に入って燃やすんですけど、1時間ぐらいかかるので、その間皆さんが
ななな、
ジ
ジャパンね、
ャパン
ジャパンね。
でその間、人がおしゃべりしたりするんですけども、ずっとその間自分がそれを見てます。なのでこういうような、イメージ、自分の死を描くことによって、自分の体と命への執着が減らします。こういう、皆様は必ず死ぬので。
必ず。So this type of visualization would help that we have tremendous attachment to our body. So if we try to visualize in that way, for example in meditation, it helps. So that I also sometimes try to practice. So this is visualization. Then next is faith in the rebirth. You know, we have tremendous attachment to our family. How it will reduce? You see, this Semitic concept of one life, I think better than that, if you believe in the repeated births and deaths, then you can imagine the previous life and then the afterlife. So if you have faith in this rebirth, then you understand that this family which you have now, your family was different in previous life, and your family would be different in next life also. So then attachment to a particular life, in that way it will help to reduce. But if you believe in only one life, then it is difficult in that sense to reduce that attachment by judging in that way. So that may be one additional point why one should believe also in this repeated births and deaths.
執着を減らすためのもう一つ方法が、輪廻転生を信じることです。キリスト教、ユダヤ教、イスラム教といったセム族の宗教には、私たちが1回だけ生まれて死ぬという信念があるんですが、そうしますと、これしかないと思って加速への執着がもっと強くなりますが、何回も生まれ変わってくることを信じていると、前世の家族と今生の家族と来世の家族がみんな全然違います。それを意識すると執着が減らします。
ですね。Then the study of scriptures, Seitan no Benkyo, you need not explain much, because from the study of scripture you understand that, as they say, every sonzai, every ikimono, every being, it is born, it grows, then it decays, then finally it's destroyed. So this body also will be like that. Then it gives us an idea of gross body, subtle body, causal body, Atman. Then how to realize the Atman, what are the obstacles, what is the way to realize the Atman or God, and what are the effects of God realization. All these understand from the scriptures. So this will help in two ways. First of all, it will help to reduce our clinging to life, and another, it will help to grow our devotion to God. This is the result of the study of scripture. This is the outcome of the study of scripture.
聖典学習によって、体の執着、命の執着の、が、減ることだけでなく、神様への愛、信仰が増えていきます。聖典にはこの体が生まれた時から死ぬまでのプロセスについてよく書かれております。少量病死、そして、自分の体には、 壮大な体、精妙な体、原因の体、そしてアートマンがいること分かります。また、霊的な進歩の障害と解決方法、そして目標とは何かについても書いてありますので、それを勉強することによって、はい、先ほど、命への執着が減らし、神様への信仰と愛が増やすことができます。
Then thinking of the eternal, the absolute, the infinity, that's God, by meditation on Him, by repeating His name, so this will help us to grow our devotion to God.
神様の、永遠無限絶対の存在という特徴を、考えて瞑想することによって神様への愛と信仰が増えていきます。
Then the seventh one is this Abhyasa Yoga. Let's say yoga practice. So Sri Ramakrishna explained this by giving an example. So you just read out.
Is it from
That is that rice, paddy, asking the. So Shresh, it is extremely difficult to proceed toward God while leading the life of a householder. Then Master says, why so? What about the yoga practice? At Kamarpukur I have seen the women of the carpenter families selling flattened rice. Let me tell you how alert they are while doing their business. The pestle of the husking machine that flattens the paddy constantly falls into the hole of the mortar. The woman turns the paddy in the hole with one hand and with the other hand holds the baby on her lap as she nurses it. In the meantime, customers arrive. The machine goes on pounding the paddy and she carries on her bargains with the customers. She says to them, pay the few pennies you owe me before you take anything more. You see, she has all these things to do at the same time, nursing the baby, turning the paddy as the pestle pounds it, take the flattened rice out of the hole, and talk to the buyers. This is called the yoga of practice. 15 parts of our mind out of 16 are fixed on the pestle of the husking machine, lest it should pound her hand. With only one part of her mind, she nurses the baby and talks to the buyers. Likewise, he who leads the life of householder should devote 15 parts of his mind to God, otherwise he will face ruin and fall into the clutches of death. He should perform the duties of the world with only one part of her mind.
これに関してある信者は、スリラマクリスナに尋ねました。在家の生活をしながら神に向かって進むことはこの上もなく難しゅうございます。340ページ、第18章ダキシネスワルにおける M 第2し、そんなことがあるものか、実践のようがアビアサようがひたすら実践を繰り返すをしたらよいのだよ。カマルプクルでは私は大工の家々の女たちが押し込めを売ってるのを見たものだ。彼女らがどんなにすばしこくその仕事をやってのけるか、まあ聞きなさい。米を平たくする脱穀機の杵は絶えず渦の中に落ちてくるのだ。彼女は片手で渦の中の米をひっくり返し、もう一つの手で膝の上の赤ん坊の世話をしている。その間にも客はやってくる。機械は米を突き続ける。すると彼女は客と、取引を始めるのだ。また、持っていくというなら、前にあげた分のお代を少しでも良いから払いなさいよという調子だ。 ねえ、彼女はこういうことすべてを同時にやらなければならないのだよ。赤ん坊の世話をする。杵の落ちてくる間に米を混ぜる。押し米を臼から取り出す。そしてお客と話し合う。これが実践のヨガというものだ。脱穀機の杵が自分の手の上に落ちないよう、彼女の心の16のうちの15は杵に注がれている。たった16分の1の心で彼女は赤ん坊のお世話をし、お客様と話し合うのだ。それと同じように在家の生活をする者は心の16分の15を神様に捧げなければいけない。そうでないと破滅に直面し、死の王の手に落ちるのだ。世界の仕事は16分の1で片付けるのだ。
Now our last point is this prayer to the Lord, intense prayer. You know the Great Master, Sri Ramakrishna, Great Master Sri Ramakrishna Shogai, there's one discussion by Sri Ramakrishna is that however you discriminate, however you study scriptures, when the temptation comes, provocation comes, all your this type of discrimination are simply swept away. So then what's the way? You try to, restrain yourself for a long time in different ways by studying scripture, by practice. But when the actual temptation comes, provocation comes, you forget about everything as if you are carried away, swept away. So then what to do? Then Sri Ramakrishna suggests, pray, 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 pray. That's why in Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna many times, the Narada, for example, prays to Lord. Lord says, Narada, I want to give you a boon. Take some boon from me. I am so much pleased with you. Narada says, Lord, I don't want any boon. Only one thing I want from you. Please don't delude me by your wild, world bewitching Maya. Bhuvan Mohini Maya Mugdha Karna. That's my only prayer. So that's the last resort and the most important resort way. The Lord again and again, Lord, you know how weak we are. You know my condition. So please help me. Please decrease my clinging to life, my attachment to life. Please grow my devotion to you. So in that way, intense prayer from the heart. This is another most important thing, so that our clinging to life is diminished and our love for the eternal grows. So that is the message, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamati. O deluded person, worship God, worship Govinda, think of Govinda, pray to Govinda, meditate on Govinda. That is Shankaracharya's message.
そして最後の方法は神様へ祈ることです。スリラマクリスナの、生涯、サラダナンダジが書いた本なんですけれども、こういう、発言が書かれております。もしあなたは長い間修練していろんな、誘惑から遠ざけろうとしているが、その誘惑の対象が現れてくると自分の、識別力が、曇らせそれに流されてしまうことがあります。その時どうすればいいんですか？その時は祈るしかないです。神様に祈りなさい、祈りなさい、祈りなさい。ラマクリスナの福音書の中に、ナラダの、 ラーマ神様への祈り、のことが書かれております。ラーマがナラダのお世話に満足して言いました。私からの恵み一つは、与えましょう。あなたは望むことは何ですか？でもナラダは答えました。この一つしかありません。私は、マーヤの魔力に、誘惑させないようにしてください。それ以外に何も欲しくはありません。このように私たちが神様に祈るべきです。神様、あなたは私の、状況、私の弱さをよく知っています。どうか私の命の執着を減らして神様への信仰を増やしてください。このように私たちが心から神様に祈ると、神様、そして、永遠な存在への愛が増えていきます。これは、バジャゴービンダーの、メッセージです。おう、愚かな者よ、神様に祈りなさい、祈りなさい。
Okay. So thank you. We finished. Now, what will the sequence? Shanti, Saishwa, Donata? Huh? Okay, first time. Sugiya Megumi-san? So, Saishwa, Shanti.
神様から歌をもらうことができたのでお裾分けです。まず最初に、お釈迦様のイメージをちょっと考えて、天上天下唯我独尊の天上天下という曲です。空よ雲よ光舞う風よ、私はいつもここにいるよ。大地よ海よ森も花も鳥も、私はいつもここにいるよ。小さな星に生まれ出会う奇跡よ、なぜ私たちは傷つけ合うのか、なぜ優しさをなくしてそれでも生きてるのだろう。辛くて悲しくて死にたくなるような日も、胸の奥の光は消えない。世界の終わりが来ても私はここにいるよ。喜びの歌が 今私の声を聞け小さな星の上で寂しさ抱えてなぜ私たちは苦しみを選ぶのなぜ幸せをそれでも求め続けるのだろう空よ雲よ光舞う風よ私はいつもここにいるよ天よ人よ愛しいあなた今私の声を聞け永遠の幸せを歌っているよじゃあ2曲目はみんなで歌ってほしいので長い間うまいな
光を灯して今私はすべての悩み心の重荷をあなたの御足に捧げ歌う祈るどこにいても何をしようとも私の中にはあなたがいますやななまきしゅなやまなまきしゅなの世の中執着せずに真理の目を持ち識別できるように導きたまえ今私はすべての行為言葉も心もあなたの御足に捧
निर्वाण षट्कम् मनोबुद्ध्यहङ्कार चित्तानि नाहं न च श्रोत्रजिह्वे न च घ्राणनेत्रे न च व्योमभूमि न तेजो न वायु न च व्योमभूमि न तेजो न वायु चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं न च प्राणसंज्ञो न वै पञ्चवायु न वा सप्तधातुर्न वा पञ्चकोशा न वाक्पाणिपादौ न चोपस्थपायु न वाक्पाणिपादौ न चोपस्थपायु चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न मे द्वेषरागो न मे लोभमोहो मदो नैव मे नैव मात्सर्यभाव न धर्मो न चार्थो न कामो न मोक्ष न धर्मो न चार्थो न कामो न मोक्ष चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं न पुण्यं न पापं न सौख्यं न दुःख्यं न मन्त्रो न तीर्थं न वेदा न यज्ञा अहं भोजनं नैव भोज्यं न भोक्ता अहं भोजनं नैव भोज्यं न भोक्ता चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न मृत्युर्न शङ्का न मे जातिभेद पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्म न बन्धुर्न मित्रं गुरुनैव शिष्य न बन्धुर्न मित्रं गुरुर्नैव शिष्य चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूप विभूतच्च सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणां न चासङ्गतं नैव मुक्तिर्न मेय न चासङ्गतं नैव मुक्तिर्न मेय चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् जय श्री गुरु महाराज जी की जय जय महामाई की जय जय स्वामी जी महाराज जी की जय जय गंगा माई की जय जय श्री बुद्धदेव की जय।
So, ありがとうございました。めぐみさん、シャンティさん、オリマン・モハラジ。そう、アナウンスメント発表ありますね。これ来月は例会はない、夏例会ありますから。それから8月、アガスト、これ、シークリシュナのお誕生日の祭りありますね。これ8月の例会あります。これ3サンデーです。いつもその方、午前からやります。で、今最後にちょっと少し沈黙で祈ってで終わります。Om Purnamada Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. 皆さんありがとうございました。Maybe this is our last discourse on Bhaja Govindam, because there are other verses also, but I believe I have almost finished discussed all the important ideas of this Bhaja Govindam. と Bhaja Govindam のシリーズので今日の話で終わりと思います。なぜならとバジャゴビンダムの大事なメッセージを我々は大体これ説明しましたから、これで終わり。OK、皆さんありがとうございました。リオ、Thank you very much。OK、皆さんにはティーとスナックスありますか、どうぞ皆さん。
今日ディスコースで引用しましたラーマクリシュナの福音の場所、最後にお伝えします。マーヤの魔力の歌のところは新しい福音の93ページ92ページの、上の方です。オークリシュナという鍵括弧からです。違うすみません、93ページの一番下の段の一番最後のところ、マハーマーヤの魔力によってです。すみません。続いて、あなたは私のすべてという歌は152ページの下の段5行目から、あなたは私のすべてのすべてという詩です。それから3つ目、おう心よという歌に関しては281ページ下の段7行目からです。最後に、押し込めの話は、ディスコースの中で話していますので割愛します。以上です。